Good morning. We're here to discuss the IEP and IDEA process. IDEA stands for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This is a federal law for children with disabilities who are entitled to receive special education services throughout the school at no cost to their families. This act covers students from birth to age 21. We also have FAPE, or the Free Appropriate Public Education Act, which just stands and means that there is no cost to any family member. It's appropriately tailored to the students based on their needs. Public education, they're entitled to the public education system, and the education is regardless of what their disability is. When we talk about IEPs, we try to place the students in the least restrictive environment possible, which is also sometimes called LRE. This just means that we try to have our students spend as much time in the classroom as possible with their peers. The IEP process starts out with a referral. This is the first step in the IEP process, and in order for a student to receive an IEP, a referral needs to be made by a classroom teacher, general education teacher, special education teacher, or special area needs teacher, and it's usually because the teacher is suspecting a disability among the student. Once that referral is made, they can obtain a meeting. Once that referral has been made, they go to an evaluation process, which is also sometimes called an identification process. This is just where a team of people, usually the general education teacher, special area teacher, special education teacher, school psychologist, parent, a representative from the special education department, and either a principal or a vice principal will all meet together to discuss the issue that they see with the student. Once this has been done, they'll determine if the student is requiring special education by giving the students an assessment. And these assessments are usually made during this process. Once the assessments have been completed, we determine the eligibility of the student. And this is where everybody just kind of talks about all the data that they received and decide what the best possible placement for the student will be. Then they determine and develop the IEP of the student. This is where they meet, they cater the IEP to the actual student to decide what placement would be best. Will they be in a 12-1-1, a 15-1-1, a DCT classroom where they're mainstreamed with students? And once that has been determined, they write the IEP, and a meeting will be then scheduled with the parent and everybody involved to determine what things need to be either taken out, added, or kept the same. Student goals will also be established in that IEP, and they will be evaluated every quarter and at annual reviews. Once the IEP has been agreed upon, a final copy will be given to everyone involved with the student. The student's teacher, special area teacher, special education teacher, speech teacher, OTPT, any related service that student then receives will have to sign off on a piece of paper stating they've read all of the information and they understand about confidentiality. They also will have any accommodations and modifications will be placed in that IEP, and it should be followed accordingly. These sometimes include special area seating in the classroom, modifying classwork, testing accommodations such as maybe reading a test or speaking out loud to a computer for talk to text. They do meet quarterly to do progress monitoring. The teachers actually test progress monitoring in the classroom daily. And once those goals are established within the IEP, the special education teacher and general education teacher will progress monitor the student weekly to make sure that the goals are being met. The teacher also takes the data and makes sure that the student is reaching each goal that was set. If they're not reaching the goal, then adjustments will be made to fix that. They do have an annual review to make sure that the student's progress was actually met. And a new IEP is written every year for new goals, either to continue on the goals that they've had or master new goals. Parents' involvement throughout this process is extremely important. Those parents have information that we don't have as teachers. They have concerns about their student, and we want to make sure that the parent's voice is actually heard. Nothing is written until everyone agrees upon everything in the IEP. Students are also sometimes involved in this process. They're not involved as much in the elementary level because they're not really sure what's going on. But as they get older, the student involvement is more. But they do let us know how they're feeling and what they're struggling with, and we want to make sure that the students' voices are also heard. We do have some procedural safeguards that we keep in mind. Parents and guardians are required to receive written notice that describes the student's rights and responsibilities under IDEA, and these are given to parents and guardians at the beginning of the year and should be easily accessible if anybody needs to obtain them. Parents and guardians are also supposed to have prior written notice should anything change or something is being made to their child's IEP. Some related services that a student could obtain during this IEP is speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling, AIS reading, AIS math. And that concludes our meeting. If you have any questions, please let me know.